Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the In Between the Stitches podcast. I am your host, Brady Wilson, the co-host, Chase Solschwinger.
Good afternoon.
Never gets old. And, unfortunately, no special guests this week. Would love to have Zach back on. We're going to work on that, hopefully before the draft, maybe a week or two before.
Yeah.
And we kind of know a little bit more about maybe, where guys are going. We got a big episode for you because it's a big time in sports, Chase. We actually have an added segment because of March Madness, right? It's a big deal. It's kind of funny. One of the reasons that I fall asleep to SportsCenter a lot of nights is so that I can kind of keep up with who's winning, because I can't be a full-time student and follow every, you know what I mean? When I'm working in sports, I can follow every sport, right? I'm looking forward to that day. But until that day, I have other things that I have to do, right? So I have to just try to kind of hear about who's up, who's low, and when I get to the tournament, pick off kind of gut feeling. Hey, at least I don't pick off because I think the players are good looking, or I think the mascot's cool, or I want to go there.
Green is my favorite color, therefore
I want to go there on vacation. Look, if UNT was in the bracket, I'd probably pick UNT to win the first round no matter what, just because it'd be really fun.
I just make a separate bracket where I have them winning the whole thing, and then my real bracket is whatever.
I think on ESPN you can create 25.
Yeah,
brackets.
you can make as many brackets. Yeah,
I mean, because I assume just because the odds are just so
you can't
astronomical.
Win.
I mean, I joke. So my professor is actually giving us extra credit for we got to submit one men's, one women's bracket, and we get a half a point for every matchup we get correct. And so it's really funny. I raised my hand and I said, Professor, if I get a perfect bracket for your class, do I get an automatic A? Provided that I turn the other assignments in. But whatever my grade is, if it's like an 85 or an 88 or whatever, you automatically round it up to an A. And he said, I don't think I can do that. I'm like, no, come on. I got a perfect bracket, and you can't give me an A for that. I'm like, come on, you can agree to it. It's not going to happen.
If I were him, I'd say I'd let you I'd retire and give you the rights to teach my class.
Yeah, you can be teacher for a day. It's
No, forever.
No, forever.
Because it is not happening.
I get tenure too.
I wouldn't put anything on the line for someone to not have a perfect bracket.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
Look, it's a lot of fun. I like March Madness. College basketball, there's just a lot. Again, it's like college football. There's just so many games that it's just I'd rather kind of pay attention to who's up and who's low, and then when it comes to March Madness, then I watch the games. Right?
March Madness is the best playoff tournament in all sports. It is just.
I disagree, but that's fine.
It's just all the excitement and all the upsets, the Cinderella stories. It's just seeing all the future NBA players playing at a high level against each other. It's just it's the best tournament. Even if you're not a basketball fan, it's just watching these schools, and also schools that are small schools that don't have a lot of opportunities, getting a chance and then making a Cinderella run. You only see that in March Madness, and that's what makes the tournament such a awesome month-long watch.
Well, I'm sure my dad, has filled out his March Madness bracket, which is literally what he does is he writes baseball and starts next week, and that's his bracket. And he posts that. That's always his bracket every year. But let's do March Madness right now.
Yeah, let's get it out of the way.
Let's do kind of the bonus segment now. So we're going to talk about. We're not going to go through every single game because that would.
All right, round of 64. Here we go.
Absolutely ridiculous. Mm-hmm. But I actually do have in my men's bracket. I don't want to call it a Cinderella story, but I do have a team that's a 5 seed going all the way to the Final Four. I do have Florida winning it all, but I have on the way to Florida winning it all. In the semifinals, I have St. John's University going all the way to the Final Four to play against Florida. Florida beats them.
Take.
I think Arizona and Michigan, it's a little more vanilla of a take. They're to the other side. And then I think it's Arizona, Florida in the final with Florida taking it. Chase?
For me, I like to try to not put all the 1 seeds in my Final Four. And I don't this year. And I didn't last year either. But the last couple of years, the 1 seeds have been so strong compared to previous years where there's maybe a 3 seed or a 4 seed. It's they're a really good team. I don't know why they're not ranked higher, but for me, I have Arizona, Michigan, Duke, and Houston. Houston has a 2 seed. I have 3 1s and a 2. I end up having Arizona as my national champion. Arizona, to me, is the most complete team. They've been the most complete team all year. They're the only team in the tournament that has 2 projected lottery picks for this upcoming NBA draft, this stacked NBA draft.
Who does?
Arizona. They're the only team that has 2 projected lottery picks instead of, everybody else who has just one. Now there's multiple teams that have multiple first rounders, but
Right.
in the first 14, Arizona's the only team that has projected the first have had 2 projected.
It's kind of weird how in basketball it's like that, but like football, it's fairly common to see a school have maybe 2, maybe even 3 guys. Like look at Ohio State.
Right. Ohio State's gonna have 5 guys drafted in the first 10
Tate,
picks.
Arvell Reese, Caleb Downs, Sonny Stott. I mean, you're gonna have what those.
That's 4 in top 10. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, hopefully
I'm
not.
I'm just saying it's interesting. Yeah.
hopefully one of them falls top 12.
Top 12.
Yeah.
All right, continue.
But no, for me, I got Arizona winning it all. So I think they are the most complete team. So we'll see what happens.
Women's bracket.
And for women's, I got Texas. Simple. Keep it short. Keep it short and sweet.
Women's bracket. I do have Texas going to the semifinals.
Nice.
I have Texas and LSU in the semifinals. I have UConn. Can never go wrong with UConn women's team, and TCU in the finals.
Wow, you have South Carolina losing.
I do have South Carolina losing to TCU in the regional 4, and then I have Kim Mulkey, the Nick Saban of women's college basketball, winning the entire thing with LSU versus UConn. I look. My best friend goes to Baylor. He loved Kim because he always loved his family. His family to Baylor too. So like he always watched Baylor sports. He loved Kim Mulkey. That's like the only reason I really know who she is. To be completely honest with you, I know that sounds awful, but like the only way I know who any like the players are either he tells me about them, or I see something on them on social media. Like it's really all I I don't really follow it as closely, but so I know who she is. It's like with St. John's. I really like Rick Pitino, so I'm gonna pick them to go to semifinals. And look, if I end up being correct on that,
look, if you end up being correct, you will be one of only a few people that have them. So
yeah, look, my bracket's already busted for the men's because I had Ohio State beating TCU. So
great game by the way.
Yeah, thanks TCU. Was hoping to make. I think actually last year I made it to day 2 with a perfect bracket.
It's impressive. And when you get past round of 64, like if you can get past round of 64, that's when you really got to start focusing because like there's $1 million on the line for a perfect bracket.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's so hard. I mean, it's always every year you think something's going to happen and it just goes the complete opposite direction.
Sports. I mean, how hard is it for us to predict?
But it's March Madness. It's not just sports. It's March Madness.
Imagine trying to we get predictions wrong from when we get NFL, NHL, MLB, NBA playoffs. How many times have we gotten a perfect bracket for those sports? Probably never. So now factor in the fact that it's 64 teams and you're trying to rank. It's tough.
Yeah, and look, in basketball, this being the sport, what is basketball known for? It's a game of runs. Anybody can go on a run, and if you go on a run,
you can get hot.
Momentum is the biggest factor in basketball. You get that momentum, you got the crowd on your side, you got the other team deflated. That's where it all switches, and that can happen in a 30-second span. So
yeah,
but I'm really looking forward to the tournament. A lot of talent. Hopefully, potential Mav on there as well. So in the Final Four, that'd be nice.
Yeah, and then Alabama facing. Oh wow, Duke is down 10 points to Siena.
Wow. Give me Duke by 15 still.
That would be insane. I wonder where in the game they are. But no, March Madness is it's a lot of fun for a lot of fans. It's a big deal everywhere. I'm gonna put on one of the games right now.
It's just halfway through the first half for Siena Duke.
Okay.
Looks like Louisville's gonna take down USF.
I'm gonna put that game on right there. I remember being in class in high school when I'd have my laptop on, and I was usually the guy that would have the look. Shocking, I know. I'd be the guy that had the sports on if something was on, so people would be crowded on my computer, and so we'd all be watching. I'd have because what I would do is I would get I was looking at something. So I would get I'd multi-window it, right? So I'd have all the games on, and it was a lot of fun. It was a big deal.
It was always the best feeling too when you get your teacher in your classroom to not have class for that day and just put March Madness on the projector. That was always the best feeling too.
Very rare, but it did happen.
I had a couple instances with it.
But now we're gonna move. We'll probably continue updating as the tournament goes on if something really big happens, and then when we get down to the final, Sweet 16, whatever, we'll probably
Yeah, for sure.
I always gotta say though, March Madness was always fun because in classes, sometimes teachers would style their lessons around March Madness. So they would do we're gonna pick I remember in the library. I always loved, now this is going to show the nerd in me, but I always loved they would do a book March Madness, and they would nominate 64 books, and you'd cast your vote for who you think was best, and then I always thought it was a lot of fun, styling things around March Madness. But We're gonna move to. I know I sound like the hugest nerd right there, but hey, the books. Yeah.
Not a nerd for me.
Hey, I can combine sports and books and everything. It's fun. Anyway, Dallas Stars. Oh, what a game! I mean, I'm still worn out from last night. I mean, that was just. I mean, it was. I mean, into the ring. It was back and forth, and when me and my dad watched the Olympic final, we both remarked at how fast the game was because it's the best players in the world, and how fast that game was moving. I mean, it was, I like games that move fast, but I mean, it was like hockey I never really seen before, maybe since the Four Nations, right? Where it's moving so fast all the time. That game last night, I think, showed a couple things, but the number one is just those are the two best teams in hockey. It's Colorado and Dallas. I don't think anyone's going to. I mean, look, Carolina's really good.
Minnesota's good. I mean,
Minnesota's great, but if you want my opinion right now, whoever comes out of those two teams is going to win the Stanley Cup final. I mean, I'm going to go and say that now. I won't say it again, but those are the two best teams in hockey right now.
Yeah.
I think. And last night was just, it was back and forth, and it felt like it was one of those games, you have some back and forth games that are goal, 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 and it's who's going to get the final one, right? That game last night was, man, both defenses are giving up nothing. So how can, it's going to be whoever blinks first, which was ridiculous. Scott Wedgwood stood on his head, Jake Oettinger stood on his head, and it was just, literally 1-1 goes to a shootout. We beat them 1-0 in the shootout. I mean, there were only 3 pucks put in the net the entire night.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
In a shootout with all the shots on goal. And I know people are going to look at the shots on goal and go, wow, Colorado really dominated that game. I don't think they did. I think we played a very good defensive game. We didn't let anything in the middle, which Colorado doesn't like. Colorado likes to stay on the perimeter, and and Gully's really fine with letting us on the perimeter because we trust Otter. And so I think that kind of equips us to beat Colorado because they don't really like to get in the middle, and that's what we're trying to protect.
Yeah.
So they like the perimeter where we want to keep teams on the perimeter. So fine, be in the perimeter. We'll let we'll kind of, as long as we can keep it clean for Jake can make saves. Offensively, we just, they were really good at getting us in neutral ice and not letting us cross into the zone. And they really weren't letting us get behind them. And but we're doing all this without Mikko Rantanen and Roope Hintz. I think that's the bigger deal.
Yeah.
I
mean, like you said, going back to it, I think these teams are they're just extremely even. I mean, both teams were down. They're down Lehkonen and Landeskog. We're down Rantanen and Hintz and others, of course. But just, naming the big pieces that are really not on, not playing a factor for each team. But, I mean, just a crazy game and a great way to get back at them for what they did last week, or more of what the Stars allowed them to do last week, more is how I should rephrase it. But, they took a overtime thriller in Dallas. The very next week, we take an overtime thriller or a shootout thriller in Colorado. So, look, they are the two most even teams, and it really is unfortunate that they are going to have to match up. Granted that each team wins their first round, which will still be tough for, I think, the Stars, because I'm not sure how confident I am the Stars are going to catch Colorado in the standings. I'm not saying they can't, but
2 points behind.
They're there, but I'm expecting Colorado to be the 1 seed, and then the Stars having to play Minnesota in round 1, which is unfortunate because Minnesota's the 3 seed.
Look, I mean, it's a fault to Gary Bettman. He refuses to fix this. He thinks he wants the ratings in round 1. He doesn't want.
It shouldn't be. I mean, teams like Colorado and Dallas should be matching up in the conference finals. They should be going. Winner of that should be going to the Stanley Cup, and it's not, and it's unfortunate. And look, in 5 years from now, look, the Stars might not be as good. Avalanche might not be as good. They're going to be all throughout the standings, and maybe a team not even in the playoffs at all. But for just the way it is right now, the way it's lined up right now, it's just really unfortunate because one of those 3 teams is going home in round 1.
Yeah,
and when at the very minimum, one of those 3 teams should be going home in round 2. So, but no, look, both teams extremely even. I really don't think you can say who's better. I think you can point to. Maybe the Stars having, Oettinger being better in goal, but maybe overall the Avalanche are better when it comes to attacking and defending with Makar and McKinnon. But overall, they are just 2 powerhouse teams, and I'm really hoping that they can meet it with each other in round 2 for a very eventful and very entertaining semis.
And I was thinking about this last night. Look, I don't like doing the. I hope we get to play X. I hate it when I hear fans, including my best friend who does it when the Patriots were in the playoffs. Oh, I don't want to play that team. I want to play this team. I don't like doing that because you're going to play a good team in the playoffs. It's the playoffs.
That wasn't my point. I obviously want the Stars to make it, but I want just from an entertaining perspective.
I'm not saying it's you. Okay, I'm saying.
Well, I heard you say so.
When other fans are like, "Well, I'd rather play this team and this team, and I don't really play that team," because look, you can't call up the NHL. Hey, Gary Bettman, can you give us like the Canucks for round one? Give us something easy. Like you can't do that. So you're going to play a good team anyway. Because I'm thinking about this. Like if we do get the President's Trophy, I want the President's Trophy for a couple reasons. One, it's kind of cool, right? We got that, and when we won the Cup, it's home ice the entire playoffs, including the Stanley Cup. So it's a big award, and it reflects the hard work that the guys put in.
Yeah.
Second reason is we get to let Colorado and Minnesota duke it out, beat each other up, and then we get the winner of that, barring we win our series, right? Now, Utah gives us problems for some reason, but we'd probably face the last team, right, which would be probably the Kings. Maybe I think Nashville's actually creeping up there somehow. And then who's the other one? That's Seattle, right? We can handle those teams. I got no problem with those teams. No, those teams are still good hockey teams.
Yeah, if you're in the playoffs, you're a good team.
It's not a given that we beat them. But like, if you're going to ask me I'd rather face one division rival that we have than both, because the team that faces both is going to be tired going into the conference finals, which is probably going to be Vegas. Now, because Edmonton just lost Draisaitl for the rest of the season. Now playoffs, they haven't announced that yet. But they're having so many goalie issues, and I've seen the discourse online. People are blaming it on Tristan Jarry. As someone that went to that Edmonton game where we Rochambeau'd them for a night, 7-2. They have more issues than just their goalie. Their defensive structure is awful. I mean, they were letting guys into the middle. I mean, it was bad. I mean, Evan Bouchard, wow, he scores so many goals. Yeah, but he lets in so many goals. Like he's his plus minus is awful right now because he's scoring so many and he's letting in so many. So, that's just, but you don't want to be tired. You don't want to be beat up going into that third round that we just cannot seem to get past. So I'd rather have the home ice and it's more for me about home ice and letting Colorado and Minnesota duke it out than it is, I really want to face a wild card team. No, Those are still good teams, and they still worry me a little bit. I just would rather I'd rather let them beat each other up than beat us up.
Yeah, I mean, for me, and also for me, like if the Stars are home ice, bring it on. Bring on anybody. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like you said, I'd rather have someone else here, but bring it on. You're home ice for a reason. So they don't want to play you. You got to think about it and vice versa. Avalanche fans are saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can keep get the President's Trophy because then we wouldn't have to play the Stars or the Wild in round one. We'd play them one of the two in round two.
Yeah.
So I mean, look, everyone's saying the same thing, just from a different fan's perspective. But look, the Stars got to keep rolling, got to get healthy. That's the most important thing right now. You hope that you can get your guys back come playoffs, or honestly, you want to get them back maybe 5 to 7 games before the playoffs, just so you can get them back on the ice, get them back used to contact right before it gets super physical and the refs allow more. And it just becomes a more tense game.
Well, I tell you what's going to be really interesting, I think, for the NHL is that the West is so top-heavy. You've got Colorado, Dallas, Minnesota, and then I know Vegas' point total is not there right now because they're 3-7 in their last 10, but it's still Vegas. And same with Edmonton, even though their point total is not going to be up there, it's still Edmonton.
Yeah.
And Anaheim's on the rise. But the East is deeper. Buffalo, Tampa Bay, Montreal, Carolina, right? I mean, Pittsburgh's playing really well.
Good for Buffalo. Good for Buffalo, by the way.
By the way, we could see a rematch of the Stanley Cup, and I think that'd be awesome.
But good for Buffalo. They've been so poor.
All of our foots are in the crease in that series.
But they've been so bad recently for the last couple of years. I mean, and then they're the number one team in the East now. So, great for them.
And, I'm rooting for Columbus to get that second wildcard spot behind. Detroit's fine, but, Columbus, look, they're, the most forgettable hockey team in the world. I think they actually have gotten voted, the most forgettable North American sports team.
Yeah, and this puts you right back on the map, just getting in that post-season experience.
Old buddy Rick Bowness to come be their head coach. Mid-season, he's kind of trying to revamp that whole thing. So
I love their logo too. I've always loved their logo too.
Yeah, and so, but then you look at the East, the Capitals might be out of it. The Panthers are way out of it. They're the second worst team in the entire conference. I mean, these usual suspects are
Injuries,
out of it.
injuries, unfortunately.
Injuries, but like they're out of it. And so it's going to be really interesting Stanley Cup playoff, I think, for everybody involved, especially since Anaheim's number one in their division. But like, that Pacific division's awful. Like if you look at the leader of that division is Anaheim right now with 78 points. The leader of the Atlantic division is Buffalo with 90 points. Second is Tampa Bay with 86. Montreal's third with 84. Okay? Same with the Metropolitan. All three teams would lead that division. And if you go to the wild card, Boston and Detroit would lead the Pacific Division if they were in it.
Whew.
And Columbus would lead it. Columbus has 81 points. Ottawa is tied with Edmonton in point total. That Pacific Division is just kind of awful.
Yeah.
But then you look at the Central, Colorado 98 points in March. Dallas 96 points and Minnesota 90 points. Buffalo has 90 and Carolina has 92. So it's going to be very interesting to see, I think, how this whole thing shakes out. You only got what? Stars have played 68 games. You only got 14 games left.
Yeah.
And I think they've got, one against Colorado and two against Minnesota. They've got Minnesota on Saturday, and they've got Vegas after that on Sunday, back to back. Then they got the Devils, the Islanders, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, Boston. So a lot of playoff teams in there, including the Islanders, the Penguins, and the Bruins. Then coming into April, we got Winnipeg, and then Colorado, and then Calgary, going to that game, Minnesota, and the Rangers, and then Toronto and Buffalo to end it. So you've got Minnesota twice, Colorado once, and Vegas once. It's a lot of, and he's got the multi-view on, folks. I
think the best scenario for the Stars is just win every game rest of the season.
Yeah. It's easy. That's super easy.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough, but you have one more chance to take away from Colorado. You're going to have a chance, I think, to play some ant teams, but also play some playoff teams.
Yeah.
We're playing our best hockey. We had, just tied the franchise record in point streak. Almost would have been a winning streak if we hadn't had that shootout loss to Colorado. It's literally the only blemish was a shootout loss to Colorado. So, hard to say that's a big blemish. Hopefully we get, Rantanen back. They've said he's going to be back with a few games to go in the season. I'm hoping he'll be back. I'm hoping, selfishly, he'll be back for that Calgary game that me and my dad are going to. It'll be kind of cool to see him. But
what point in the season is that?
That's the last homestand, second to last week of the season.
So you might, yeah.
April 7th. So very excited for the Stars, and we're going to now move to the Mavericks. Chase, I saw we lost again.
Yes. Yeah, and it was actually a huge game, a huge night for the Mavs.
Yeah.
It started off 3 nights ago. They went to New Orleans, and them and the Pelicans were tied in the standings.
Right.
Well, if the Mavs won that game, they split the season series, and they jumped them to go up another seed. But fortunately, the Pelicans handled their business. Pelicans won. We officially dropped down, and now we're tied with New Orleans and only a half game or 1 game behind Memphis. So a Memphis win and a Memphis loss and a Dallas win. Dallas jumps both of them. Last night, it was, what was it? It was Pelicans versus the Clippers. The Pelicans won. That's huge.
Right.
The Mavs versus, who did we play last night? Why am I blanking? Why am I blanking on who we played last night?
Hawks, right?
Hawks, yes. Hawks who are...
Look at me.
There you go. Good for you. I'm sitting there watching the game too. It's like... But Mavs lose. So they go down another game from the Pelicans. But then the biggest thing was Denver at Memphis. Denver being 14-point favorites. Memphis goes in and they win. And that makes Memphis jump up another game. Right. So we're now 2 games back from Memphis, a game back from New Orleans, not holding a tiebreaker either. So the Mavs have firmly locked the 13 seed right now in the West and currently have the 6th pick in the draft if the lottery goes that way. They projected the 6th pick right now, which would be amazing. And have a 32% chance at top 4, which would be awesome as well.
Yeah. Hey, look, we traded Luka for 2 first overall picks.
And Luka's just out there being an MVP. He's just absolutely dominating, averaging 40 this past week. My dad and I actually were watching the Rockets-Lakers game last night, just the last 5 minutes because it was such a good game. And when we turn it on, like immediately, Luka has like 7 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists, like in the span of like 30 seconds. And it's just like, I don't want to keep bringing it up just because you're always going to be talking about it, but it's just every time you watch him, it's like, what was going through Nico's mind?
Can I tell you my favorite part of this whole thing? Luka rarely got MVP consideration when he was with Dallas. And there were a few years where I think...
Well, he's still getting shafted, though.
Hold on. Like, he rarely got even consideration. Like, if a Mavs fan tried to pipe up and go, who's your MVP? If a Mavs fan dared to go, I think it might be Luka. No, it's Jokic. Or is it Jokic?
Jokic.
It's Jokic. It's right. We were beaten down saying, well, no, it can't be Luka, even though I think Luka probably deserved an MVP at least already once in his career. The second he goes to the Lakers across every sports channel, should Luka be the MVP? It just...
Yeah, I mean, look, being in LA definitely helps that.
But I'm getting kicked in the nuts every time he's brought, because it's like, we've been clamoring for that for years. He's with Dallas. Oh, little Dallas. I'm tired of Dallas being treated as like it's a small market.
It's the 4th biggest market.
We're the 4th biggest market in sports. Why are we... It just... Like, why are we being seen as, like the Rangers? And people say, well, it's because the Cowboys carry you. No.
Cowboys haven't done anything in 30 years. People need to stop.
We're still a big market. Yeah. Like, how I don't understand. Look at the Stars. They're barely getting talked about. On national television, a national analyst said one of the reasons for their point streak is because Mikko Rantanen is heating up.
He's not playing.
He has not played since before the Olympics. I'm tired of feeling disrespected from the national media about my teams. Because even the Cowboys, they're a joke. The Stars, barely talked about, even though we're the 2nd best team in the league. Just beat the number 1 team. No, let's talk about Colorado more. My star Slovenian king is here for years, and people talked about him a little bit. When it was like, name your best players under 25, he was always on the list. But
number 1.
But when it was name your MVP ballot, he was never mentioned. And if a Dallas fan mentioned him, we were laughed at. He immediately goes to LA, is having similar numbers to what he was having with Dallas. Oh, this guy is the MVP.
It's actually worse numbers. He's at 32, 8 and 9, or 8 and 8, and when he was 34, 9 or 10 and 9.
Worse numbers. Thank you, Chase.
Yeah.
But because he's got Lakers on his jersey, MVP. And then the Rangers are, as my dad has always put it, we have been the redheaded stepchild of baseball since we came into existence. Do you know when fans say the most irrelevant World Series is, like the last 10 years? They say it's ours. Because it was kind of random. Rangers, Diamondbacks, right? That's a random matchup. But we can't win a championship without people saying it doesn't matter. I'm tired of it. It's frustrating. Because we get something special, no one acknowledges it. That specialness goes somewhere else. Oh, look how special this is. Continue. My rant is done.
Yeah, I mean, good, spot on. But going back to the Mavs, look, have to just gut through the season. Just get through it. Keep losing. It's the best way that your team's going to get right back on to where you want it to be. That's about it. Speaking of basketball, before we move, I have in front of me High Point, Wisconsin, first potential huge upset of the day. There's 11 seconds left. High Point just took a 1-point lead. Wisconsin has the ball.
And sorry about that, folks. It did the weird thing with the thumb where it like freezes. So be careful when you talk with your hands because I think it froze. So I had to redo the capture card. So that's why it went blank for a little while. I was going to mention it, but then you were in the middle of talking.
Wow. I think High Point's going to come out with the upset.
Wow.
Look at that. Just High Point beating Wisconsin.
What seed are they?
12. 12 over 5. 12 beating 5.
Feels like every year there's like one of those. There's like 1-12 that beats a 5.
Yeah, that's part of March. That's why it's awesome.
Look at Wisconsin. Are you getting texted about it?
My friends are just
bro. Anyway, so that's what happened with the thing. Anyway, so my rant's done.
Mavs keep losing.
Yeah.
Flag keep trying to get back into Rookie of the Year odds because missed so much time.
They're not going to give it to him. That makes my point even more. They're not going to give it to him. They're going to give it to Knuckle because he's a bigger story for some reason.
But Charlotte
is a bigger story than Dallas.
We'll see. I think they should give a Co. I mean, obviously, I think it should be Coop because he's just better in everything except for 3-point shooting.
Wow.
But
Modest, are you?
he is. He's better at literally everything except for 3-point shoot, like 3-point shots made and 3-point percentage. Yeah, it's not even close. It's just because Coop missed a month basically with the All-Star break and the injury. Con didn't miss time, so Con kept playing while Coop was just sitting, and yeah, now they're neck and neck. So we'll see what happens, but yeah, it's hard. It's hard watching the Mavs right now, but hopefully it'll all be worth it.
Hopefully. Rangers.
Playing well.
We're gonna have a special opening day episode next week. It's gonna be on Wednesday. I think it's because I'm gonna be gone for opening day. We got to do them before opening day, and I don't have my predictions ready right now. So MLB predictions will be next week with a mock draft probably the following week. I expect for football, but with baseball, look, congrats to Venezuela, WBC champs. U.S.
didn't deserve to win. They're awful.
Bats went quiet.
Yeah.
It just happens. It's frustrating, but I think the bigger story, of course, is right now is Mark DeRosa and having some questionable comments, and people were starved for baseball. This is the biggest thing we had, so people are going to kind of overblow everything. But hey, congrats to Venezuela. It was a big deal. I will say, just for comedic purposes, it was really funny that the final was Venezuela and the U.S. I'm not saying anything else, making no other allusions to anything happening in the world. I'm just saying, if you know, you know. It's a bit funny that happened. But back to spring training. I mean, dude, I'm so tired of people overreacting to spring training stats. Jock's not hitting well. Trade him. It's spring training. Andrew McCutchen is tearing it up. It's spring training.
The only thing I'm looking at this is that Wyatt Langford
He's crushing
the ball, and that's great.
And I'll tell you the one thing about spring training that helps. It gets you into it. It'd be nice to have a few guys starting the season in a groove. That's it. That's all that matters. The stats don't matter. I don't care if a guy hits 25 home runs in spring training. It does not matter. You know what spring training stats are like Monopoly money. They don't get you anything. Okay? Like, they're not worth anything. They're just not. You don't sign or trade or whatever a guy because he had a bad spring. He had a bad spring. Right? Spring matters for only a few guys, and it's the fringe guys on the roster trying to prove they can make it. Right? That's literally Wisconsin.
Hail Mary pass, intercepted, High Point at the upset.
Wow. That probably busted about 1 million brackets.
That's a lot. But High Point was definitely a favorite 12 seed for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Anyway. So I'm just tired of people overreacting spring training stats that look, I am happy that Kutch looks pretty good though. I'm happy that he might make the team. I'm really excited about, maybe what he might look like for us this year. You're just talking about a borderline Hall of Famer playing for your team. That's always pretty cool.
Yeah.
And he's a great locker room guy. Nimmo's playing pretty well. So I think, look, I'm just like Kumar Rocker. Spring training matters because Kumar Rocker is fighting for a spot on the roster, right? But spring training for Wyatt Langford, McCutchen, Jock Peterson, the established guys, doesn't matter. Spring training. So now if Jock's hitting 120 in May,
yeah, you got to hope for like a surge, then trade him, try to get out of his contract.
We got to have a conversation. We're not gonna be able to, Chase. He's here for this year, but we're not gonna be able to. But that's your Rangers update. Get excited. Opening day next week. We'll have an episode the day before, or unless Chase can't make that, and then I'm throwing him under the bus. But we'll have one before opening day. I'll guarantee that.
If I have to call in, I'll call in.
Yeah.
But yeah,
football. Oh boy. I mean, there's
Cowboys are back to sleeping.
But like everyone's kind of sleeping right now.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a.
But the fact that Bobby Okereke is still a free agent.
Jalen Waddle got traded. First, a third, and then a pick swap in the 5th, I believe is what it was, going to Miami. Good for Miami. I think they got really good value for Waddle. I think if they'd have traded a first and nothing and maybe like a pick swap, that'd be fine. The 3rd? You traded a 1 and a 3 for him?
I mean, basically a 2 with that 1. But
yeah, but still, wow.
And I saw a lot of Cowboy fans online saying,
"That's a lot."
Well, what is Pickens' value then? Is it 2 firsts? I mean, is it a first, a second, and a 4th? I mean,
no, because of his personality. Teams won't go near him.
I mean, look, hopefully, I don't want to trade him. I'm going to make that clear. I just want to get a deal done. But
I think the value for Pickens is a 2. I think it's because
no way they wouldn't get him for we'll get a 1 though.
Chase, I'm telling you, teams do not trust him to not go demon mode and.
Well, I guess the only difference.
Stuff.
I guess the difference is also that he's due a contract, so that's probably
he's due a contract, and he's got significant off-field concerns. No one is trading their 1 for George Pickens. I would very much highly doubt that a team gives up their 1 for him, but I don't want him to be traded, so we'll just keep him. But I kind of like the way the free agent. We talked about this with Zach Walchuk last week. I kind of like the way the free agent class is kind of shaped up. I think they really hammered some defensive players that I like. They need to figure out linebacker before the draft, but I think if bringing in Kobe Durant, big time signing there.
I love it.
Mean, I think that means signing Kobe Durant means that you don't have to have a corner in the first 2 picks. Right? Like that's kind of what that means. And then, of course, Oso Odighizuwa traded to the 49ers, so the enemy, but you did get pick 92.
Huge.
So now you have 3 top 100 picks. I know people are, and man, again, things that sports fans say that frustrate me. I could have a George Carlin routine about things that sports fans say that frustrate me. Here's another one. Yes, it is funny when an owner or a GM does the meme with a trade, and that is, we traded a 3rd-round pick, could be anything. It could even be Oso Odighizuwa. Yes, it's funny that Jerry basically said that about Micah. Those 2 first-round picks could be anything. They could even be a Micah Parsons, right? The part that I think I wish sports fans would also acknowledge in this scenario is you're not just trading for a 3rd-round pick hoping he becomes Osa. That 3rd-round pick is cost-controlled. No one acknowledges this in any of these trades, right? When you trade a star player for picks and everyone goes, well, why are they doing that? Why don't they just pay him and they don't have to try to hit on those picks? It's like, yes, but you're banking on, I'm going to hit on the pick and I'm going to hit on a pick, and now that guy's cheaper than the guy I just traded. Significantly cheaper. We're paying $20 million to Osa. That's a lot of money.
For your 3rd best tackle.
We felt surplus goods, ship him out. We'll get a 3rd-round pick in return. So it's what we spent on him, a 3rd-round pick. If we can get similar production from him at a different position, at cost controlled, that's a part of the equation, is trying to manage the salary cap and a cost control player. It kind of bugs me that that's never mentioned in these trades. It's like they just.
I mentioned it on Twitter when that happened.
Maybe you did.
I did. I said, look, I mean, we're getting out of $20 million. That's
we're getting $20 million, but it's that I'm talking specifically about the people that make fun of the draft pick they get back and say, well, you could just kept the player and not have to try to hit on a pick. It's like, yes, but the pick, if you hit on it, it's now cost control for 4 years. You don't have to worry about him paying, for 4 years. That's a big deal. We traded, when we drafted Osa, I was in high school. I actually hadn't played football yet. That's how long ago we're talking he's been on this football team. So, I'm not overly concerned with that trade right now. I
love the guy, too. I'm going to miss Osa for sure. I mean, he was a great locker room guy, wanted to be in Dallas.
Same with Solomon.
Yeah.
But I think they just didn't really fit what Christian Parker wants. And I think Christian Parker is kind of getting his ingredients. And, this is going to be a 2-year rebuild for this defense. I think to get back into maybe the top 10, top 12 conversation.
Nice.
I'm not looking at trying to get back top 10 right now. And I think the fans that are trying to, they need to be top 10 next year. No, they don't. I think I told you this. They needed 4 extra stops from being a playoff team last year. Think about that for a second. You get 1 stop against Green Bay, that's a win, not a tie. You get 1, and we can talk about CD dropped the ball. You get 1 more stop against Philly in week 1, that's a win. You get that, you don't play Deron Bland 9 yards off against Carolina. You might win that game. There's 3 wins right there. You're now 10-7. That's a playoff team. Immediately. Because that'd have been a better record than the Packers. You were 3 defensive stops from being a playoff team last year. We don't have to get, yes, that's putting a lot of pressure on your offense. If you can get to the 25th ranked defense, you could be a playoff team. Win the turnover battle, make your tackles, put pressure on the quarterback. You don't have, you know what I mean?
Yep.
We don't have to be this game-wrecking defense. Just be good enough to win football games, and we'll be fine. And I think we're trending in that direction. I'm very curious about to see who we draft. I will say, ladies and gentlemen, if you go to my Twitter, my top 25, I think I'm at my top 30 right now. I'm at 30 players watched. I'm still a little behind. Had a bit of an issue with over spring break with my car getting wrecked. That was fun. So just that kind of threw a wrench in all my plans of watching a lot of players. So I'm kind of grinding players right now, but I am at my top 30. And I'm getting in my top 30 right now because I did want to name who my top 30 was. Because I'm sure people are riveted to know who I'm sure you're riveted to know who my top 30 was.
I think I can figure it out.
Number one, I have 16 first round grades. I have, let's see, what is that? 1 third round grade. And then, I have 28 players on my board. Sorry. Top 28 players on my board. And then I think I have, what is that? 10 second round grades. My first round grades in order are Caleb Downs, Arvell Reese, Ruben Bain, Jeremiah Love, and Sonny Styles. Top 5. Bottom 5 of the top 10 are Mansour. It's Mansour Delane. Mansour Delane, David Bailey, Francis Mauigoa, Jermod McCoy, and then Carnell Tate. Then going into 11 through 15 is Mekhi Lemon, Jordan Tyson. Yes, all 3 receivers are grouped right there together. 13, Fernando Mendoza. 14, Dylan Thieneman. 15, Spencer Fano. And 16, Monroe Freeling.
So you did watch Mendoza.
I have watched Mendoza.
And?
Well, I have him higher rated than I did Cam Ward last year. I had a high 2 on Ward. You look at Mendoza, his strengths. He throws with timing. He's accurate to every part of the field. He's got enough velocity, but his touch, fantastic. And he's tough. He's super competitive. Obviously, go see the run against Miami to basically put a dagger in their heart. I mean, that was just a heck of a football play.
Personality's there, too. I mean, he wants to win. He wants to get better.
He's got that. He's a leader. He's don't have to worry about anything off the field. No Jamarcus Russell concerns. No Johnny Manziel concerns. Couple times, if he Reed wants to run, fine. He's great at that. When he's Reed, nothing's there, and he doesn't really want to run, or he feels like he can't, his feet get real jumpy. And it just, it puts him in he looks very indecisive. His arm strength is fine, but it's not like, booming. And dude was only a 1 year, wonder. 1 year, Cal, he was okay, but then he got hurt, right? I think so. I could be wrong, but if so, he really...
But he proved it.
He was, I hate to say it like this, he was a nobody until this 1 year he's at Indiana. So there's I have a small concern with you weren't a 3 year, 2 year, like a Bryce Young. You weren't 2 years of playing great college football. You were 1 year of playing, but you were Cinderella story. So there's some some push and pull there, but... I mean, he put up some gaudy numbers, but again, it wonders, can he maintain that? Was it just 1 year? Excellent touch, good enough velocity. You'd like to see maybe a little bit more. Reads coverage is fine. Didn't make a ton of bad decisions with the football. Can throw to all levels of the field. My comp for him is Phillip Rivers.
Okay.
I think he's about similar size. He has kind of that whip. He doesn't really have that funky throwing motion.
Right.
But he's got kind of
I know what you're talking about.
Motion.
Yeah.
And then going into the second round. Here are my grades. It's Cassius Howell, Peter Woods, Oliva Vega Ione, Keldrick Falk, CJ Allen, Kenyon Sadiq, Jacob Rodriguez, Caleb Banks, Omar Cooper, Denzel Boston, and Caden McDonald. Now, of course, there'll be probably some other guys that creep into that range right there.
What's his name? Ione is going to go super high.
And then I have Blake Miller as my first third rounder on the board. He's a tackle for Clemson.
I like Blake Miller.
It's because he's a weird player. I watched him yesterday. He's great size. His feet are fantastic. It's the first thing I look for. But he was a 4-year starter. That's wow, 4 years. But then I think about it. If you were there for 4 years, why didn't you come out last year? Was it because you thought you had national championship aspirations? That's fair. But if you were going to be a top 10, top 15, top 20 pick, you'd have come out last year. You wouldn't stay another year. So that kind of gives me some pause, but he has no power. There were times where, he's moving to a block and he hits him and the guy doesn't really move. I mean, he just doesn't have a lot of power. Not a great anchor. The bull rush, he's very, very susceptible to that. He has enough speed to handle the outside rushers, but he still gets beat by them. So there's just a very highly inconsistent player for a guy that played 4 years. But he's got some of the groundwork to be a decent offensive lineman. My comp for him is Terrence Steele. He's a great run blocker, but his pass blocking needs a lot of work. My pet cats, which if you know, those are just kind of like my guys, are Caleb Downs at 1, Ruben Bain at 3, Dylan Tate, that's a former Rangers pitcher, Carnell Tate at 10, Monroe Freeling at 16, Cassius
you can say Dylan Thieneman too, even if you don't have it.
Cassius Howell at 17, Jacob Rodriguez at 23. Those are my guys.
Dylan Thieneman, you can make him an honorary pet cat.
When you make your board, you can put the asterisk and make him your pet cat. But, and then one guy that I'm really just not sold on is Kenyon Sadiq. And I know fans are going to, whoa, how? Look, he's a fantastic, he's probably the best athlete tight end we've ever seen. But there's just some blocking concerns I have. Look, he will block, he will throw himself, but he's more of the throw himself at the guy rather than block him. I also Kyle Pitts has kind of scared me from the athletic freak tight ends. Wow, he's so athletic, but what, you know what I mean? Like,
but Kyle Pitts, in his fairness, hasn't been given a quarterback yet.
That's true. So Sadiq will be a little bit dependent on
See where he goes, yeah.
But with Sadiq, it's going to be, can he be used properly? And if he's used properly, I can see him being, that's why he's not a first-round grade. I don't see him being George Kittle level he's not a complete tight end. He's not going to be a guy that probably goes to no, he could. Because he can do some special things as a receiver. Hell, he can catch screens. I've never seen a tight end that can really catch screens.
I think a good comp. I don't know what you have for him, but I really like Jatavion Sanders as a comp.
My comp was he's a twitchier Harold Fannin.
You like the Jatavion Sanders comp?
I see that, but see with Fannin, he's a very similar build, makeup, play style. Just that Fannin kind of waddled because Fannin was very new to the position. Sadiq is very smooth, but a little more twitchy. I just look. I'm just not as sold on him as some other people. Same with Keldrick Falk. I mean, he just has no burst. He's all power. But again, they asked him to do some weirder things at Auburn, so I'm curious if that changes the way some teams evaluate him.
Yeah.
Still, so I don't see my top 5 changing at all. I don't see my top 9 changing at all. My top 9, of course, being the Downs, Reese, Bain, Love, Styles, Delane, Bailey, Maligoa, McCoy. I could see someone else putting above Carnell Tate, but right now, my first round feels pretty solidified. I can't think of anyone that maybe Emmanuel McNeil Warren. Maybe
I like him a lot.
Maybe there's an Avion Terrell or a Brandon Cisse or a guy like that I throw in there. I don't think TJ Parker's a guy I'm going to have in the first round. Akeem Mesidor is maybe a guy. I'm seeing maybe 3 more first-round grades, which would match my total from last year, which was 19. So
I want to bring something up to you before we move on. I've seen a lot of people talking about it, and from the Cleveland Browns perspective, I'll get into where I'm going with this in a second, but they are looking, obviously they are multiple pieces away. They are looking to move back, I've seen. They are looking to acquire another first-round pick to have a third-round pick, or to have 3 first-round picks in this upcoming draft with whatever they get, and then 24. I've seen the Cowboys potentially with interest in going to 6, and people making mocks of them trading 12, I think it was 12, 20, and 92 for 6, 39, and 107. Is that something you do?
I prefer the 12 and 20 for 6 and 39. I don't really want to move back from the 3rd round there.
But I think that's what would get them to budge.
I'd rather see if they would just take a regular 5th round pick, nothing else attached than that. But
because at 6, I mean, you're getting your guy.
I'm not doing that until we know who's there at 6. I would not go near that until I know Caleb Downs is there, Ruben Bain is there,
trade up for Delane.
I mean, there are 6 guys. I've said there's my 6 best. There are 5 of my 6 guys in my top 6 are 5 of the guys. With the other one being David Bailey at 7th. Right, the highest offensive guy I have is Love. I've talked about it. The 6 guys I want defensively: Downs, Reese, Bain, Styles, Delane, Bailey, and Jeremiah Love is the only guy that's in that mix in the top range. So I'm hoping that we get a top 7 talent. That's rare. Try to get a top 7 talent, but I mean, outside of that, it really kind of dries up for Dallas. I mean,
I'm telling you, I see
look at past Bailey, offensive guy. It's all offense in the back of my first round grades. My defensive grades are the top end. So,
I see them going Allen at 12. That's where I'm looking right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it. I just would prefer to trade back and maybe try to recoup an extra third-round pick.
I agree.
I think they're still going to look to trade back because I think they like to have 2 first-round picks.
Unless someone falls in their lap. Yeah.
I still maintain my idea. Jeremiah Love, if he's there at 12, call John Schneider of Seattle. Hey, you want to move up? And you'd get a king's ransom for that.
Yeah.
You'd probably get their first-round pick this year, a day 2 pick, and their first-round pick next year.
Yeah.
For that, I mean, that would be. But if they love Jeremiah Love, him on Seattle would be ridiculous. But I'd take their picks in a heartbeat.
Oh,
so
yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us. I think there's nothing else that really we need to talk about this week. We'll recap more NFL free agency when we do our mock. We're going to devote more time to here's what each team has done, blah, blah, blah. That's kind of what we're going to do that
When is the next mock?
in 2 weeks.
2 weeks, okay.
Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you